tonight, and thank everyone who is here with us, the students and support people for the students. This is a nice event, and thank all of the faculty members that are going to be out tonight talking about their programs. I'm Jimmy Kidd, and I am with the admissions office, and have with me Elizabeth Tier, who is our Zoom expert. She is wonderful at all things technology, so she is here with us as well. She's over recruitment and orientation at Jefferson. I will be here to answer any of those dreaded admissions questions, financial aid questions. I can at least give you some general information if you have any questions, those type of things. But we're going to stick mostly to our wonderful faculty members and let them discuss their wonderful programs, so you can get a little more information about their programs and what it might take to graduate with one of their certificates or degrees. First thing I'd like to at least let everyone know is complete that application and complete the FAFSA. If you are a JCPS student, wonderful opportunity that I'm plugging at every turn, and that is our Evolve 502 scholarship. And that is a privately funded scholarship that the city is now putting on for JCPS graduates beginning in May of 2021. And that will cover your 2-year degree at Jefferson Community and Technical College. It will actually cover any 2-year degree at any of the community colleges in the state of Kentucky, but we're here today to talk about Jefferson, so I'm going to keep it to Jefferson. One of the nice things about these programs as well, all of these programs are Work Ready scholarship eligible as well. So there's the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship that students can, if they exhaust the Evolve 502 funding, that they can also look at using Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship funding as well. And you can graduate debt-free with those scholarship programs in any of these programs. So please keep that in mind, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. First things first though, I am going to try to do this. I'm going to share my screen and bring up a video. And let's hope this works. Everyone seeing the YouTube video?
Yes, looks good, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Good. All right. I'm going to start with our plumbing and Jim Leeser here in a second. All right, I am going to turn over first to Jim Leeser, who is our plumbing coordinator and one of my favorite programs and one of my favorite displays on campus. So let me stop sharing. I forgot to do that. And turn it over to Jim. Thank you, Jim.
Well, thank you. I'm not really prepared to know really what all you want to know about plumbing, but the program itself is a very hands-on program. We actually have our classroom inside of our lab, so if we have any questions throughout the program, we can go turn around in our seats in the lab and actually look at it in actual practice. We've go from every aspect of the plumbing, from design, installation, learning the different types of materials, learning how to thread pipe, how to solder pipe, how to join different pipe materials together, put in an entire system for a residential home, learn the code that we have to follow in order to have everything work properly. We also go through troubleshooting of water heaters, different issues that might arise in the plumbing system. The program is a 2-year program, which in that time frame you can get the diploma. The diploma grants you 1 year's work experience towards your journeyman license requirement. The Division of Plumbing requires 2 years of work experience in order to apply for journeyman license. They you get 1 year for the diploma, and you would have 1 year under a master plumber. The plan is, if after you get some experience in classes, that you can work for a plumber while you're taking the remainder of your courses. And by the time you graduate, you have 1 year for the diploma and 1 year under a master plumber. So you are able to go straight from school and take the journeyman's test, which is a hands-on and written test. So the school prepares you for that more so than actually just working out into the field. We go in depth into the code book and prepare you to be successful on that test. Any questions, or do I need to elaborate any more? We are very hands-on.
I have a question. Can you tell me what would that look like once we get back into the classroom, since you guys are so hands-on?
We have been hands-on since August. We have not gone virtual, so we have been completely hands-on ever since we were granted the ability to do so. We've got smaller class sizes, and we've got social distancing, and the projects that we work on allow us to work throughout the lab and have room to do that without being on top of each other.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I'm waiting to see if we have any more questions for plumbing. All right. Thank you all. Next up, we're going to discuss our heating and air conditioning, HVAC. Let me pull up this video, and I have tried to make it in present mode. So let us see here in 1 second. Oh, it's doing plumbing again. Sorry about that, folks. Yep. Next up, we have Grant Gamble, who will be talking about HVAC. Grant.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, so welcome everybody. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the HVAC program. We have a daytime and a nighttime program. It's essentially the same with one exception. The evening program traditionally is ran on a hybrid model, in which allows you to come to class and basically the lectures are done online. There's a misconception about that. It's not, somebody had made a comment earlier about totally online or when are you going to get to the classroom. So basically the homework and lectures are done online. The testing, the testing is done, in class, with the computers in the lab. So it's basically the program can be done fairly quickly. 3 semesters, at the quickest. It's typically a 4-semester program. Once you complete it, if you are working in the field, there is a chance that if you pass your license exam, you could actually graduate from the program and start working licensed in the field upon completion. What that requires is you complete the program in, when you complete with the diploma, if you have worked for, the 1 year that's required, you actually get a discount. If you complete the program, you get half the time required to sit for your journeyman's credited back to you. So we do have students that will complete the entire program. They're working for an HVAC company. By the time they graduate, they've accrued enough on the job training hours. They can sit for their journeyman's exam, and then they pass it, and they're licensed in the field. So, and then the daytime program, the only difference is there's more actual required time in person. So all the lectures are administered in person. For nighttime, they're the same amount of hands-on. So you're not going to lose any of the hands-on time in the lab. They both require the same amount. Daytime, lectures are done in person. Nighttime, they're online. Any questions regarding the HVAC program?
Grant, what does employment prospects look like? Kind of typical salaries? You have any thoughts on that stuff?
Yeah, it depends. There's more money in commercial than there is in residential. However, I don't want to, it depends. It's one of the most high demand fields we have in our entire division. Next to aviation, I'd say it's the second highest in demand field, that we have. On a consistent, I want to, kind of that can be tricky because if Jim talked about this in plumbing, there's probably a higher demand across the state for plumbers because a lot of people are retiring in that sector. However, HVAC is consistently in demand for skilled licensed workers. Starting pay, most of the people in the nighttime program already have jobs. That program, the nighttime program, has always been full. We have about 15 to 16 spots, and most of them are already working, making at least $15 an hour or more. Depends on the capacity of what they're working, what they're doing. But it is one of those fields to where you do need to work for a couple of years. You're probably not going to make 2025 out of the gate. Once you get licensed, things change. So you have a lot more value if you're a licensed journeyman HVAC mechanic, and then if you're not. And you can do a lot of things in the HVAC field without being licensed, but getting that license, which is what the program will prepare you for, will changes things. I'm not sure if that answered the question or not, but
Any other questions for Grant in HVAC? We'll have time for questions too, I think, at the end. So
sure.
if you think of some, please let us know. Thank you, Grant.
Yep.
Next up, we have aviation maintenance, and bring that up. Next up, we have Dallas King, who is here representing the aviation maintenance program. Dallas?
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Thank you all for having me this evening. My name is Dallas King. I'm the program coordinator for aviation maintenance technology. Our program is certificated under FAR 147, which means that once that you begin the program, you are getting the required hours that you need to become an airframe or power plant mechanic, or both, which is the A&P license, which is the goal of the program. During the course of the program, you're going to learn to maintain and do repairs and alterations on civilian aircraft. There's 3 different curriculums in the program. There's a general curriculum, which is the prerequisite courses, not general education necessarily, but assigned aviation courses, which basically makes the foundation for the remainder of the program. 4 courses in that curriculum. Once you pass all 4 of those, you're able to move on to airframe or power plant. So general is 1. Airframe is over 2 semesters. There's an airframe systems and then an airframe structures. Once you get into power plant, there's a power plant systems and then a power plant, basically engine overhaul for both reciprocating and turbine engines. We do offer 2 different schedule options. Like Grant was saying with HVAC, we actually have a day hybrid schedule where students come in for 2 days each week, 12 hours, which they're doing their hands-on labs. And then there's approximately 12 hours of online work where the student is doing lectures, written assignments, worksheets, things of that nature. Our evening schedule is fully traditional, which means that there's no online component to it. And like this misconception that was discussed earlier, a lot of people think, well, you know, if part of it's online, then, you know, it's not hands-on. I want hands-on course. The amount of labs that you do in the hybrid are the exact same labs for the exact same amount of time as what you find in the traditional mode. Often students will ask, well, which way is better? There's not really an answer to that other than one way is better for you than the other. If you're a really good self-manager and you can identify when you don't know something, then the hybrid may work out very well. Less time driving to school, things of that nature. But if you need a little bit more input, particularly with the instructor, then the traditional mode may be the option for you. We've started something recently where if a student is having difficulty determining what schedule is better for them, we can set up an interview for you, either online or in person, with an existing student from both schedules so that you can kind of get a better feel for what schedule mode might fit your lifestyle better. It is a very important decision when you're going through that process. Some of the course areas that you're going to learn in aviation maintenance technology, and there's a lot of different subject areas and they come at you pretty quickly. There's a lot of electricity. We go through basic electricity in the first semester. There's airframe electrical courses, and then we also have power plant electrical courses. We do have welding. We do have structural courses that you do with composites, which are like fiberglass, carbon fibers, Kevlar, things of that nature. We also have the courses, like I mentioned earlier, where you do turbine engine teardowns and overhauls, installing a turbine engine, removing a turbine engine, and then a lot of the courses that are for the associated engine control, like electrical systems, fuel systems, a lot of that type of support system courses. We have courses that are assembly and rigging courses where that you completely disassemble an aircraft, you put it back together, you rig the flight controls. We have different structural classes like sheet metal. A lot of the aircraft that you see these days that are newer are actually composite structures, but there's still a whole lot of metal structures that are out there in the industry. So we do teach you how to do repairs to those sheet metal structures, how to build new flight controls, things of that nature. So a lot of exciting things, but then there's also, there's nothing free in this world. So there's also another side to the program that you need to be aware of. There are extremely strict rules in place for time and attendance and for grading. Once that you reach a certain percentage of the class, if you go over a predefined number of hours, then you automatically time out and fail that individual 4-week course. Students get acclimated to it, obviously, but it is a in-depth program. And like I said, the instructor doesn't have much of an option. If you're not there, it will adversely affect you. There are some required exams. The school is really preparing you for the FAA exam, so you need the time. You have to get to the amount of time that you need, obviously, but then also you have to take the FAA exams, which consist of a written exam and an oral and practical exam. So the written exam is just like it sounds. The oral and practical is when that you schedule with what's called a DME, and you can expect to spend anywhere from 4 to 8 hours one-on-one doing different projects and assignments that he's given. People usually get very nervous before that exam, but the program does, at least in my opinion, a very good job of preparing you. And the FAA keeps records, which are called national norms, and our program is always above the national average. So something that we are very proud of. There's a lot of job growth in this industry. A lot of this came by some of the things that's going on the cargo side. Obviously UPS, you have Amazon up in northern Kentucky. I think aviation would have probably taken a much larger hit during this whole COVID pandemic, particularly on the passenger side, but the cargo side of things with Amazon and things of that nature have really gone up. The growth rate over the next decade is well above 8%. So, a lot of people retiring, obviously, a lot of new things that are coming out with package delivery. And so very exciting industry to get into for a 2.5 year, time that you spend in school. The payoff is very considerable, with top out pays well above $100,000 a year in most cases. There are some things that need to be considered if you decide that you want to go into the aviation maintenance program. We do enroll through a selective admissions process, which is basically an application, and you get points assigned based on what you've done, like if you've done general education courses. Things that are there to strengthen you as a student and ultimately as a mechanic as well. So if you're interested, if you go to jefferson.kctcs.edu and then select the aviation maintenance program, my contact is there. Again, my name is Dallas King, and I'd be happy to hear from you and help you get started. Do I have any questions, or is there something I can assist anybody with this evening?
Is there a waiting list to get in your program?
So I do get that question a lot. There was a waiting list. At one time, it was getting out to about 5 semesters. So obviously, that was a very, very difficult thing to manage. That list was ultimately abandoned in favor of the selective admissions process. So now the selective admissions basically gives the students a little bit more control of when they can get started. Instead of waiting for a long period of time, if the student looks at things that have points, and they're willing to do them, for example, general education courses, particularly the math and science. So you can kind of get to where you need to be in your own time instead of waiting those 5 semesters to get in. So there's not a official wait list. It's all through selective admissions. You fill out an application and get scored. Does that make sense?
It does. And if you do get in, how long does your program last?
So it's 2.5 years total. The program itself, there's a lot of hours that are assigned by the FAA, and that gets you that 2.5 years or 5 semesters. Currently, we don't have any courses that are taught over the summer. We try to schedule if students need to retake a course or something like that. The summers are kind of held in reserve for that. We do obviously think that students are much better off getting their associate's degree, but what we typically advise students to do, obviously starting off and getting your general education courses before you come into the program is a really good option. But also if you get into the program and you want to do the general education courses needed for the associate's degree, summers make an excellent opportunity. Once you get past the general curriculum, you can also add a gen ed course into your aviation courses. So, there's different paths you can go on. You can come into the program to get your certificate associated with the A&P license, or you can choose to do that same thing, but then add on 6 different gen ed requirements in order to get your associate's degree.
Another question, what is the job market like for aviation since we're in this whole different world of the pandemic and all that stuff? How does that, has that impact the job market for aviation?
Yeah, that's what I spoke to a little bit earlier. It's a very good question. So obviously on the passenger side did take a hit on things, if you work for Southwest or something like that, and it's just people on board, then, there would obviously be more concerns on that end. But overall, looking at the industry in total, when you consider the cargo side and things like that, there's still tremendous job growth. There's still an abundance of opportunities out there. Once that we get past COVID, I think that because everybody's been cooped up for so long, I think that you're going to see another big growth with people, going on vacations and just, businesses starting to kind of go again. So I can put it kind of simply this way. Any student that goes through the program who gets the testing and gets their license are able to find a job. There's a tremendous shortage, and industry are still very, very interested in coming and talking to the students. We have industry come in periodically to sit down with the students or do a presentation to tell what their company offers and, why basically they should come work for that company. So there's still a lot of that going on. So I feel comfortable in telling you that it's a very secure, very high likelihood of being able to get employed quickly.
And what does the jobs usually start out at?
So different areas geographically will have some impact on that. For example, the Louisville area, I'm going to say, is around $18 an hour. If you travel to northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area, that goes up a little bit. If you go to Florida, for whatever reason, I guess because a lot of people want to live in Florida, it actually goes down a little bit. So geography does, oddly enough, play a role in that. And those are starting wages. So I think if you're looking for a specific number, I think $18 an hour is a good average.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure. Can I help anybody else this evening?
Dallas, you mentioned, the possibility of a six-figure income. What kind of time and experience would someone earning a six-figure income have?
That's a really good question. So six-figure incomes, for example, everybody here in the area knows UPS, but there's a lot of other, companies out there that have similar pay. Starting off in the industry, like I said, there's different focuses that you kind of look at and go into. There's general education, like the smaller aircraft that you find over at Bowman Field. If you work on those type of aircraft, your quality of life is going to be a Monday through Friday job, no weekends typically. But your starting pay and up to about 5 years experience is going to be somewhere between $40,000 to $60,000 a year typically. You also have corporate aviation, which is an area that a lot of people sort of overlook. Like, for example, Humana, Yum Brands had their aviation wing here in town, but actually relocated a couple of years ago. But those types of jobs have a similar kind of quality of life. It's typically a day schedule that you're going to work. It's, very few or maybe some weekend work. But the job, the pay and the compensation would go up, somewhere between $50,000 to $80,000 a year from entry level to, the 5-year mark. On the heavy side, on the transport side, coming in, a lot of those jobs are looking for prior experience. So what a lot of our students do is they work for a smaller regional carrier, like we have some in town, like Republic Airlines, for example. You might go to Republic, you might work there for, 3 years is usually the magic number. So you start out at 18, and then you work 3 years. By the time that you're leaving, maybe you're somewhere around $22 to $25 an hour, and you apply to a job like UPS. Well, if you start off at UPS, and I don't work for UPS, this is just approximate numbers. You'll start out for about $22 an hour. So you might actually take $1 an hour cut maybe by starting at UPS, but then within 5 years at UPS, you're typically at, $130,000 to $140,000 a year straight time. So, any company that you work at, there's key numbers of years. 3 years of experience is typically what you need to really open a lot of doors. And then once you're with a company, most companies are going to hit top out at about 5 years. So from wherever you start to where you end up is going to take about that 5-year period. That's a good question though, Drew. I hope I answered it well. Oh, and I should have said too, if you work on the heavy side, again, there's a trade-off for everything in this world. If you're making a whole lot of money, typically you're going to be working more of an evening or a night schedule. Starting off at UPS, you might be 4 on, 3 off. So you're working 4 days a week. You might be working like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday schedule, for example. There's a lot of jobs where like PHI, Petroleum Helicopters Incorporated, they actually work 7 on, 7 off on helicopters, but you go out to an oil rig out in the ocean and you're literally there. You live there for those 7 days. So there's a whole lot of different paths, a whole lot of different things that you can do with this license. And it is a federal license, so it's not like a license for a particular state. Once you have your A&P, you're good to go basically in any state and most countries around the world. Maybe not Iran or North Korea or something like that, but most countries do honor the A&P license and then have an avenue for you to be able to work on aircraft in that country as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Dallas.
Thank you.
Next up, we're going to talk about construction. So give me 1 second. And with construction today, looks to be in his car. I'll call him out. There's the smile. It's Josh Steiner.
Oh, hello everyone. Sorry, I just got out of teaching a class on site, so you're coming to you from my vehicle. But my name is Joshua Licksteiner. I am the program coordinator and instructor for the construction technology program. Our program focuses primarily on residential and light commercial construction, carpentry primarily. We don't do much heavy commercial construction just because of the size and scale of that type of work, although the principles and stuff that we teach as part of the residential and light commercial transfer over. It's just at the scale at which things are done. So as a part of our construction technology program, we really go through all the steps of building a house or a commercial building. We have classes in foundation, concrete, formwork, and wood and metal framing, interior finish. We have classes, roof finish, cabinetry and millwork, and all those are taught in a hybrid format. So we do part of the lecture component online, homework and things like that online, and then we have all the lab work that's done in person down on our technical campus. Currently, we have the construction technology program, which is a diploma program. So you can gain up to 6 certificates and the diploma, or you can get the associate's degree with all of the program classes and then your 6 gen eds. We also have the Jefferson Built program, which works along with our construction technology program, which is a building trades leadership program. I coordinate that as well, and that's a partnership with some of our local area companies. They actually hire students. You would be working Monday through Thursday for that company, and you'd be coming to school on Friday on the tech campus with me. That program is a 1-year program, and it's geared towards building trades leadership and learning about the trades and the different trades. So that class, you take carpentry classes, plumbing, electrical, leadership, and blueprint classes as part of that 1-year program. I actually have several employers right now that are hiring, looking at people for the coming fall semester. There is a website for that, jeffersonbuilt.com. You can also go to the college's website for the construction technology program, and we've got some information up there. Medium wages, I think medium wage right now for carpenters, you're looking between 40 and 60 for that medium wage. Most of our employers are starting out around 14 to 15, but it depends on whether or not it's a commercial employer or residential employer. But they typically are going to quickly move you up after you've spent 2 to 3 months there and you've proven that you can show up, come to work, ready to work and learn. They're going to move you up pay scale, more quickly to get you into some more competitive pay rates there. The construction industry right now, even with COVID and everything, most of my employers have still been hiring and still been looking through people all through the pandemic. Most of our, especially our larger commercial companies, have still been working this entire time. So there's definitely work out there. We've got an aging population in the building trades industries, and we've got a lot of people aged 50 and older that are going to be retiring here in the next 10 to 12 years. So we're really looking for young students and people coming out of high school to get into the trades, learn about the trades, and be prepared to take over here in a couple of years as we get more tradesmen retire. Does anyone have any questions or anything about the construction technology, carpentry, Jefferson Built, any of that?
All right. I'll let you go. Thank you. Coming to us from on site. That's always awesome. Right there is an admissions person's dream. It's like, yes, here it is. So thank you very much. All right. Next up, we have from General Automotive, and that's going to be Nick O'Brien. And I know now I need to show a video. So give me 1 second, Nick. I'm sorry. I went out of order. All right. Since I've already done the introduction, I will turn it over to Nick. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jimmy. My name is Nick O'Brien. I am the program coordinator for the General Automotive Technology program here at JCTC. And it's a 2-year program. It can be finished in less time than that if you, if you want to take extra classes, which we have a number of students that do. But essentially, we offer 11 classes, and we're soon to be adding a 12th class for hybrid and electric vehicles. We cover the entire powertrain, the electrical system, steering, suspension, brakes, climate control, transmission, the whole deal. And most of our students go to work. It's fairly evenly split between dealerships and independent shops. Average starting wage for our students typically has been about $14 or $15 an hour. I've had some students much higher than that. I've had some that started a bit lower than that. It really just depends on the employer and the skill level of the student. Right now is kind of an exciting time for us in the automotive program. We are almost finished building a brand new lab. So we're adding 8 lifts to our lab space. That'll give us a total of 14. We're adding some new cars in the next few months, and we've got a very flexible program. I think that's one of our biggest strengths. We offer classes daytime, nighttime, part-time, and full-time. We've got students who are degree seeking, diploma seeking, or certificate seeking. So we've got most of our students are taking the full associate in applied science program. But we have many other students who are taking just maybe 1 or 2 classes. Maybe they're just taking a brakes class or just taking an electrical class. We've got students working in all facets of the industry in service departments, parts departments, body shops, performance shops. I've got a number of students that work at the local Ford plant in the ITR shop doing diagnosis and repair on electric fork trucks and tugs and forklifts and all that type of stuff. So we really have a lot of different options, not just locally, but nationally in the automotive industry. It's a huge employer. I have local employers contacting me every week looking to hire students. So there is no shortage of jobs to be had. And even a lot of shops now are hiring students part-time. That was never really a thing in the automotive industry years ago when I was a student. And I've got a number of students now who work part-time during the week. Maybe they come to school 2 days a week. They work 3 days a week. What a lot of students do is start out taking day classes, and then they get hired in a shop. They end up working full-time during the day. They switch to taking night classes. They finish out their degree at night, and then they're off and running. They're going to work. We also are starting an apprenticeship program with a group called AAG, which is Automotive Apprenticeship Group. And that will be a 2.5-year apprenticeship where students go to work 4 days a week. On Fridays, they'll go to work for a couple hours. Then they'll come to see us for about 6 hours and get some, mostly hands-on instruction. We have the ability to let students, under the right circumstances, let students work on their own car as part of their classwork if they'd like. So if we're doing brakes class, for example, and a student has brake lights that don't work, or they have brakes that make noise, we can look at that and address that in class. Again, if it's the right job for the class. I'm not going to have someone, doing their head gasket when we're doing steering suspension class or something like that. But very flexible. We also have a partnership with Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, so that a student who is taking our program, if they choose to opt in, it's not mandatory. They can leave our program with 39 individual certifications from Mopar, from Chrysler. So whether or not they go to work in a Chrysler dealership, they can leave with industry certifications that they can put on their resume. The same certifications they would earn on the job at Chrysler, they can earn while they're in class with us. All different types of possibilities that we've got. And I don't know, I feel like I could talk about it for hours, but if anybody has any questions, I've got answers.
Any questions for Nick? All right. Thank you, Nick.
Thank
We'll
you.
see if questions come later. Next up, I do not have a video for our Toyota T10 program, but we do have Sam Houston here with us, who is with the Toyota T10 program. So I'm going to turn it over directly to Sam.
Hi, thanks, Jimmy. Hope everybody's having a great evening. I know there's no video, so I'm going to try to just bring that energy with me without the fancy background music. So in the Toyota T10 program, we're very similar in the general automotive program in that we cover, all the basis of all automotive study. The unique parts about being a Toyota T10 student is our partnership directly with the manufacturer. So students who enter our program are on a pathway that's putting them towards factory level certification, which in our industry, factory level certified technicians tend to have a lot more opportunity, and their wage increase is substantial over a shorter period of time. The T10 program is a 2-year program or 5-semester. And again, I did mention earlier, it is a rigorous program, meaning that our students come to school for only half the semester, and they come to class every day, Monday through Friday, from 8 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. And then the remaining 8 weeks of that semester, they will work in a dealership where we will assist and place them in, and get them an opportunity to be an intern, an entry-level technician, where they'll be able to get on-the-job experience and mentorship within the dealership. And then the students basically rotate this through five college semesters. So it's a 2-year program, but we do fall, spring, summer, fall, and spring. And once you're all finished, our students graduate as ASE certified technicians. They also graduate as Toyota certified factory trained technicians, as well as all their credentialing that the college provides for them as well in each area. And just like some of the other programs, students could take 6 general education courses on top of their 52 credit hours of Toyota T10 classes and earn an Associates of Applied Science and Automotive Technology. So the program is pretty awesome. We do have limited space because all of our seats in the classroom directly correspond to employment positions in the field. So if you are a Jefferson County area resident, and we only have a few dealerships in the area, so positions and spots are pretty competitive in the local market. So if you are wanting to are interested in becoming a T10 student, please check out our national website, t-10.com, and then you can find out all sorts of national Toyota T10 information there. You can also fill out the contact us form, and then pick Jefferson Community and Technical College off the list, and that will send your information directly to me so I can reach out to you. We can schedule a one-on-one visit. You can come down and see the lab, see what we do. You can check out all of our awesome cars we have for all of our students to work on. Again, it is a 2-year program. It takes 5 college semesters. You can earn your associate's degree through our program, but you don't have to. And we do focus on all areas of automotive study, just like the general automotive program. But we do we do have some, like I said, the Toyota specific, so you get the factory training as well. We embed both of those into the entire coursework. So, Jimmy, in order to help keep us on track, I'm going to wrap it up right there and open the window up to see if anybody has any questions for me.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, no problem. Thanks, Jimmy. Just one more thing. Just remember t-10.com, and that's the best way to get information and to get a hold of me if you're interested about the program. Thanks, you, Jimmy, and I'll hang around to the end if there's any other questions.
Thank you. You did wonderful even without the music. All right, next we have the Mercedes-Benz Accelerate program, and we have one last video. Maybe we have a last video. I'm going to hit pause and give it 1 second. I am sorry, everybody. This happens sometimes when you're dealing with Zoom and videos. And I'm going to stop the video since I'm having connectivity problems. Sorry about that, Steve. I'm going to turn it over to Steve Frame, who is on the Mercedes-Benz program.
Well, thank you. I want to reiterate the same things that everybody else has said. I appreciate having the time to talk and to invite students and faculty and counselors from high schools. I work with the General Automotive program. I complement their program as well. Students in my program here at JCTC are only in the program for 3 semesters, and they can then continue with JCTC with the general program and get their associate's degree. So while you're in my program, you're going to get 38 credits towards that, which will also allow you to earn 5 credits towards your degree. One of the things about our program is we've partnered with 32 dealerships in the central region of the United States. So there's 1 Mercedes dealer here in Louisville, so we've got to get our students around the country. Also, I recruit around the country as well. So to answer the number of seats in our program, we're at 16 normally, like we would be not under COVID protocols. Of course, now under COVID, we are doing a limited number of seats as well. So we're at 10 based on the size of our classroom you saw at the beginning of that video. One thing about Mercedes-Benz technician status, you will get 92 training modules while you're in this program. It's embedded in this program. Those modules are the national modules that all technicians take, and that stays on a student's transcript with Mercedes-Benz wherever they go. So that allows them the process towards becoming base certified, and then area specific certified, and then master level certified with Mercedes. So some of the things I wanted to talk about, we have a cycle much like Toyota, where students come to class for half the semester. They go to the dealership for half the semester, work with a mentor there. They're going to get 640 hours of training credits with a mentor so they can build their skills in a stair-step format. What else do we have? Students are going to also qualify for the ASE test areas in the 5 areas that we teach in those 3 semesters. So they will get ASE opportunities to pass those as well. No specific experience is needed. We'll start from a base level if necessary. Of course, it's always nice to have students that are college ready and prepared. So you'll be better off and more suited to move on. Of course, good driving record. Dealerships can't hire you if you can't drive cars. What else do we got? Valid driver's license. We'll give your social security number to Mercedes-Benz so you can get a student and technician ID number, and then you'll be able to access all of those websites. So to answer some of the questions that have been similar questions that the other programs have had, Mercedes-Benz technicians are typically about 9% higher on their median salary and per hour salary as well. And our program currently is only a day program. We don't do a night program. And then mainly because we would have students much like Toyota from around the region. And currently it works out a little better to be a day only program. Some of my information that I tell parents is that for students to look at schools, to pick a school that best fits them, and then based on price, location, and then just knock it out of the park. Do the best you can at the program that fits you. So you can go to mbusa.com. You can look at careers. You'll see JCTC is linked on the Mercedes-Benz website. You can go to their site. You'll go to careers. You got to go to their college partners, and then you'll see JCTC and Mercedes-Benz Accelerate. So if you want to get just through JCTC site, just go to the search box at JCTC site, type in Mercedes-Benz, and it'll get to my contact landing page, and you'll see my email and the access to my site there. So if anybody has any further questions, I can let the floor open up for that, and we can answer those.
For the dealer portion, if they have to travel outside of the area, how does like housing work?
So we worked with a dealer up in Cincinnati to help students pay for a apartment. Now the idea is that I'm a regional program, just like Toyota T10 is a regional program, and I had students go from Louisville up to Cincinnati. I had a student go to Denver. I had a student go to Allentown, Pennsylvania. I had 2 students go to Nashville. And so the dealers they're going to try to help them get housing the best they can. It is on their students' shoulders. I will work as well to help facilitate finding housing. So we've had students stay with fellow employees at the dealer. Some dealers have done some reimbursement. I had 2 students down in Nashville that stayed with the general manager and a service advisor. So we do what we need to make it work. Currently, I've got a student from Michigan. He's back at home doing his internship right now. I've got a student from Lexington. So he comes in, goes to school during the week and goes home on weekends, and he's back in Lexington right now. I'm working on a student coming in from Hawaii that's originally from Illinois. So he'll be working in St. Louis. So there's no cookie cutter process, and we do what we need to do to make everybody's expectations met. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you know, we try to do everything we can to meet their needs. See if I've missed anything. Some statistics that I'd like to share. Our program has been up about 2.5 years. We're only the 2nd community college in the United States that Mercedes-Benz is partnering with. In the 2 years that we've finished out students, I've got a 80% graduation rate of JCTC curriculum, and 50% of those, 57% of those students are graduated all completely with the Mercedes-Benz program. And then 67% of these students after 2 years are still in the automotive industry in some capacity. So. All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Steve. That was some good stats there at the end too. Learned some things there. All right. So this is an opportunity for any last questions before we adjourn for the evening. So do we have any questions about any of the programs that we heard tonight, or admissions, financial aid in general? This is where I wish I had my phone up and I could play crickets chirping.
Can't believe there's no work ready questions.
Work ready or Evolve 502, I expected those. I was ready for them. Those are wonderful opportunities. Remember, you do not need to pay for tuition if you're going into any of these programs. These programs you can have covered completely by one or the two, And if you are just shy and don't want to ask in front of people, please, please, please just reach out to me directly, and I will talk to you through those programs and which may be best for you.
Can you name those programs again for me, please?
Yeah, there's the Evolve 502 program, and that's starting this year for Jefferson County Public Schools. Anyone who's graduating this May could be eligible for it. There are certain requirements, but that's for free tuition at any of the community colleges in the state of Kentucky. And then there's the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship, which actually is a scholarship designed for the high demand, high wage jobs here in the state of Kentucky that are advanced manufacturing, IT, construction, automotive, business IT, and all of the allied health nursing programs. So your programs will be covered under the Work Ready if you're not eligible for the Evolve 502.
Where will I find information for these two, the Evolve 502 and then the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship? Where would I get information from that for?
Both are on our website, but I generally have students start by going to evolve502.org.
Okay.
And then for Kentucky Work Ready, it's Kentucky Work Ready, Kentucky.com, or that application is not up yet.
Okay.
For next fall, you apply through KHEAA, so KHEAA.com. That's Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority.
Gotcha.
And they will, both of those programs, now they have some criteria that you have to meet, but
Okay.
for the most part, just about everybody, if they're a first-time student, would be eligible for one of those two.
Okay. All righty.
I can't stress those two programs enough. They're going to help a lot of people out. All right. Well, I will stick back for a minute. Thank you, faculty, for everyone who helped out tonight. Thank you, Drew, for helping put this on. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be here for a minute or two.